From the Norfolk Southern Christiansburg District between Bluefield and Oakville, West Virginia. We'll also be taking a look at the old Virginia Oakville as well. So come along with me as we take a look at some trains that were filmed in decidedly warmer weather, and maybe, just maybe, get warmed up from this. I promise warm, and that's exactly what we get with this shot from August 2023. It was a hot one as we waited the east end of Bluefield Yard. Here we'll view an eastbound manifest, a train carrying a little bit of everything, leaving town with a fresh crew on board. Bluefield is where all trains stop and change crews before going east or west. We're back at that same location in February 2024, and it's a little chilly, but still warmer than it has been here lately. This is a coal train headed east, and as we view the train, check out that church in the background. A church in a coal train. Now that's an Appalachian scene if I've ever seen one. We move up the line to Oakville now, and I guarantee you most rail fans who come here are probably here for that double-track X&NW main line behind the camera. Not me. I'm here for this handsome old trestle on the old Virginian main line. This was part of the electrified portion of the Virginian from Mullins to Roanoke. You can see here the grades on this part of the road. The reason Virginian electrified this part of the railroad can best be summed up in two stories. To conquer the stiff grades, Virginia needed a lot of power to pull its trains. The problem is that with steam locomotives, if you have a lot of pulling power, you don't usually have a whole lot of speed. The perfect example of this would be the Class AE 210-10-2. These locomotives were delivered in 1918, and they could pull, but they were slow. Two great stories illustrate the slowness of these locomotives. The first is that it wasn't unheard of for a head-end brakeman who had himself a lady friend could tell the young lady to meet him at a platform at a certain station. He could get off the train, have a reasonably long conversation with the young lass, and then get back on the train when the caboose passed and walk back up to the engine. These locomotives also had a tendency to rock, and so to avoid having all the smoke and ash and soot being blown back into the cab as the locomotive trundled its way along the line, a head-end brakeman thought, hey, this thing's rocking, I'm going to put a rocking chair on the front of the engine. I'm going to get a great view and I'm going to save myself from inhaling all of that. It was a great idea, and the engineer and the fireman thought this was a great idea, I'm going to do it too. And then the darn thing derailed right in the middle of a tunnel. So they were trying to escape all this smoke, and they had to re-rail this locomotive. In 1925, the first electric locomotives began arriving on the property in the form of Class EL3As, built by Alco Westinghouse, or as they were better known, Squareheads. These locomotives were originally to be used as a set of three, and for the most part stayed that way until the end of their lives on the Virginian. Some did get converted to being one single unit, but that was the exception, not the rule. They were all scrapped in 1960. By 1948, the Squareheads were needing some assistance, so Virginia went to General Electric for what became the EL2Bs, in my opinion some of the handsomest locomotives ever built. They stayed on the N&W roster until the end of electric operations in 1962, as did the ELC locomotives that arrived in late 1956. I know of a picture that I can use of the ELCs, but trust me, they existed. Today, NS still runs a scrap train and a rock train up to Princeton through Oakville. The rock goes to a power plant in North Carolina to be used as scrubbing stone. I don't know what they do with the scrap. On this day in June 2023, we have the westbound scrap train on its way to Princeton, with plenty of old Southern Railway cars in the train today. That's quite a sight to see if you ask me. The Southern is the Southern in Norfolk Southern. We're on the N&W now, and this is NS Train 811, empty coal from Norfolk to the former Virginian yard at Elmore. Why is it on this side, you may ask? In 2015, NS severed the rails of the former Virginian between Herndon and Princeton, and now routes all trains to and from Elmore through Gilbert before taking the Guyandotte River branch to Elmore. This adds about 160 miles to the trip. We're still in Oakville, and here's another eastbound coal train. It's just starting to get dark in September 2023, and I don't know about you, but to me, I think this is from the best time of day to film a train, and especially an eastbound coal train. I love loaded coal trains in this light. We end our journey from still warmer times in February 2024. Here's an eastbound intermodal headed either to the sea at Norfolk or down to Charlotte. As the train heads east, let's talk about that red light. That's the end of train device. It's basically the replacement for the caboose and connects to the train's air brake line and monitors air pressure and can even tell the crew if the train breaks apart somewhere. It sends radio signals to the lead engine every so often, and if your scanner is so equipped, you can hear that, and it's a surefire way of knowing you're near a freight train. Oh, it's good to be inside, that's for sure. Hope this episode has warmed you up a little bit, just like getting inside finally did for me. If you like this episode and would like to see more like it, I invite you to like our Facebook page. You can also watch our live sports broadcast there as well. You can check us out on YouTube and River Network. Use our Roku channel to search on River Network. You'll be sure to find it. WatchNRN.com is a great website. You can watch our live programming online. And if you're here in Fayette County, you can watch us on Channel 4 in the Plateau, Channel 17 down in the Valley.